What is up, lads and ladies, it's Edward here, and today I'm just going to show you basically the interview that I got to have on Talksport. It was at 12:45 in the morning though, so... But every cloud has a silver lining, I guess, but... Yeah, thank you basically for getting me into the position where I can have people on Talksport wanting me to come on to talk about games. It was a bad game, I know, but... Yeah, I just thought I'd put it on, but also just before I do... I really do hope you all have a very Merry Christmas. Thank you all for your support, and I will be seeing you for Burnley. Enjoy.
The trolling begins.
This is just mean. This is really horrible. Ollie Levy and his musical Tombola just whispered in my ear, this is the Canadian electronica artist, or 6-2, apparently. Like Fortet, but they didn't lose 4-2, or 4-Tet doesn't really work, does it? But they did lose 6-2.
4-10.
4-10, yeah, maybe that works.
Stretching. This is way better.
Yeah, what you've done is better than anything we've just said, so let's
I really
carry
like
on.
this as well.
It's nice, yeah. Look at that. What Records vibe, kind of late 90s, early noughties.
Maybe we need a 6.
Ninja tunes, yes it is like Ninja tunes.
We need a
Banging.
6-2 night.
Right, anyway, let's talk football, because otherwise me and Ollie are going to find ourselves falling into a trance. Let's speak to Edward James. He's an Everton blogger, and I'm sure staying up until this hour would have been a much more positive experience had the scoreline been the other way round. Ed, we really appreciate you staying up to chat with us. Just tell us a little bit about today.
Well, where do you sort of start, I guess? Yeah, I mean, it was just one of those, I thought, with the game, like going really 1-0 up, you know, everything looking really positive, looking really rosy, and then it's literally as soon as the goal gets allowed, you know, you've got the mentality of these players dropping, and then we just concede again, and then literally just the floodgates open from there. And unfortunately, I think it's been a recurring factor so far this season.
Do you think, it's a couple of weeks ago, felt like things were turning around, the silver era was starting to come together, people were being a bit more positive after a rough start to the season. I know it's, you know, we can base a lot off one result or a couple of performances,
Yeah.
but do you think that he should have enough in place so you guys should be really pushing on towards that 6?
Well, that's the thing. Like, I can completely understand, and I've said this before in comments. It's like we need to be giving them time, and I think a lot of Everton fans need to actually be giving Marco a bit of time as well, because, you know, like you just said, like a month ago, we were singing his praises because we were getting like results away from Chelsea. You know, beating them, well, not even beating them, but like getting a goalless draw, which no other team has done. And, you know, we were singing these praises, saying this team's going to really push on, and somehow literally a month later, the exact same team has just conceded a battering to Spurs. And, you know, everyone seems to forget this team is still in transition. Yes, it's had 18 games, but then you look at the likes of, say, Pochettino or even Klopp. You know, those two have had their teams for at least 3 years, been able to impact their styles for 3 years at least. I mean, Spurs battered us today because they've got this team that has worked well together. Ours still, I guess you could say, is still in that transition period. You know, we've still got the age to come, I think.
How worried are you about Jordan Pickford and his decision-making?
Yeah, that is, it is quite troubling, I must admit. Obviously, you know, everyone's saying he's got this arrogance of the World Cup. Well, to be fair to him, at least he knows when he's made mistakes. Like, he still came over to us in the Gladys Street at the end of the game, held his hands up and said, sorry guys, that was on me for that first goal. So, you know, maybe obviously the decision making needs to improve, but it's like the management needs to have the faith in him. He'll be told what mistakes he'll make. I think he does need to maybe tone it down a bit, not have to worry about being, you know, the guy that's going to save Everton's team or anything like that. But I do admit his decision making does need to improve a lot. But he's not arrogant. He knows when he makes mistakes. However, I think this is just a bit of a little bit of a rut in his development. He just needs to get over it, basically. No, all the best keepers make mistakes.
You guys spent a lot of money on the squad over the past couple of summers. Obviously, more so than the previous summer when there seemed to be 5 different people all making transfers within your organisation and all buying number 10s at that. But
Yeah.
considering the investment over the past couple of years, where do you still need to improve to kick on? And let's be honest, it's a season where 6th is up for grabs, at least be pushing for that place.
Yeah. That is a good point. I think we do have the squad that can definitely overturn sort of like teams like, no offence, obviously, to the likes of Brighton, to the likes of, even though we didn't, Watford, you know, those type of teams. Then you need to just start looking at the top 6, but then it's really going from there with what we can get. I would maybe start looking, if we're not going to bring John Joe Kenny in, maybe start looking into a replacement for Coleman, as much as I hate to say it. But I think the desperate plea is up front. Even though I have to admit, Calvert-Lewin had a brilliant game tonight. I thought personally, definitely the best of the bad bunch.
Yeah, definitely the bright spark today.
Yeah, 100%. Richarlison definitely isn't a striker yet. However, the only problem I have is that if we're not working with the squad that we've got, then, and we're just going to keep splurging money in that. You know, City did it when they first started getting the money, and it didn't work out for them in terms of that until they started realising we need to use what we've got. Spurs, you know, an example obviously that we saw today. Kane came in, replaced obviously those current strikers they had, and look what he's coming into. You know, we, instead of just literally throwing, it will help, but instead of throwing money at every single problem, maybe we start looking at least what we've got at the minute. Because if we buy someone in January, maybe it'll turn out like Tosin, have a good second half of the season, but then, you know, just blow off. I don't know, but maybe looking into striker roles is a possibility. However, we should really evaluate what we've got in the squad at the minute, because we do have a good squad.
Talk to me about Tom Davis, and I don't really get it. I thought he I thought he went missing today. I'm surprised that Gomez was taken off instead. Just explain to me and the listeners that perhaps don't get it what you guys see in him.
Oh, well, I think a lot of fans do see potential. Like, obviously, you saw him in the first season that he had under Coleman. You know, he was a brilliant bright spark in midfield. He was, you know, able to string passes together. Then obviously he had the second season where a lot of players did dip in form. And to be fair to him, he's not really had much of a game to play, especially when Gomez has come in. You know, he came in basically when Davies, as soon as Davies, I think, last game he played was against Leicester away. As soon as Gomez comes in, he's immediately out of the lineup. I don't think he made really another appearance since then. So maybe, in a way, he's not match sharp. But you do look at other... I mean, I have to say, I thought when I went to Leicester, or in there, he did really well in Leicester. So maybe it's just down to match sharpness. I personally think, I'm one of those Evertonians who's like, I can see something in him. He's a really, you know, he can be a really, really good player. However, there are some that just think he's quite overrated and isn't really going to bring much to the squad, which, you know, I can sort of see where they're coming from, because I have to say I did think he was a mistake for a couple of goals. But again, you know, people seem to forget he is only 20. And, you know, we, as much as, you know, obviously I'm not Scouse, as you can tell, so I'm probably going to get ridiculed and be called wool or anything like that. But, you know, obviously being a season ticket holder for about 3 years now, I've seen sort of a bit of a progression with Davies. He can be a really good player, and people forget he's only 20. You know, the likes of Barkley got ridiculed out because, you know, maybe one of the reasons was because Everton fans just kept, you know, slating him for every single thing he did. And that's the same with maybe a lot of other players, but Davies, and it's always ones that come from the academy, you know, they always get that ridiculed a little bit more, probably because, you know, the fans want them to do well. You know, their sense of, you know, they're from the area, you know, they're from the club itself, they just want them to do well. So, I don't know, he's already got intense pressure on him from the academy or anything like that, and he doesn't really help himself when he puts in performances like he did today, or yesterday.
Ed, brilliant stuff. Ed James joining us. And don't worry, Ed, nobody is calling you a paper fan or a glory hunter for picking the blue half of Merseyside, trust me. This is Talksport, you're listening to Extra Time. You can keep getting in touch with your thoughts on any of the action from the Premier League or any other sport. But up next it is live NFL action as the Kansas City Chiefs